Hi everyone and welcome to Matthew White's podcast 128. This will probably be short because there is bugger all to talk about except for the game that's in 4 hours. And it's one that there isn't loads of really technical stuff to get into because everyone knows how Liverpool plays and everyone knows how we play. As always, joined by Casey.
Hello.
How's things, mate? All good?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Can't complain on the game day now that the proper football's back.
Yeah, it's nice to have proper football back. And it's nice to be able to go into a game where, you know, there's actually 22 players on the pitch. Because yesterday it appeared that across the entire league there was one.
Yeah.
There were two people existed yesterday in the entire world of sport. One Portuguese twat and Emma Raducanu. Those are the two sports people who existed yesterday.
Yeah, I heard tale of Varane apparently having a good game, but I don't know if there's ever going to be any evidence that happened. There was, like you say, that Portuguese prick, and then final score wanking him off at every opportunity they could.
Yeah, it was infuriating to listen to, but at least now we've got some much more likeable footballers that we can have the world pay attention to.
No, fucking Mo Salah.
Yeah, there has been 2 under-23 games, but I haven't seen either of them. Leeds got beat by Wigan in the under-23 Premier League Cup, but obviously we had no players. Everyone was in international duty. Archie Gray, the 15-year-old, became the youngest player to play for our under-23 since Lewis Cook at 14.
Son of Andy.
Yeah, it's weird how it was always framed as like great nephew of Eddie.
I don't want another Nick Gray situation.
But they got beat 2-1, which by all accounts was a pretty good performance given the side that they had out. It was very, very young. And then yesterday, which couldn't be shown due to Premier League regulations, I'm assuming that the highlights are probably up now, but I haven't seen them yet. 2-2 draw with West Ham. Max Dean scored early, and then a Sam Greenwood penalty after a foul on Gelhardt.
And what a penalty. Absolutely. Yeah, it's the only thing I've seen, and Jesus, does he nail that penalty.
Well, I'm just glad they've taken him off Gelhardt because he looks a really, really good player, but his penalty taking has been poor.
Fair to say.
So, yeah, Liverpool. This will be a very tough ask, but not an impossible one. There's a lot to be said. Like when Liverpool played against Norwich, they weren't as aggressive going forward. They did kind of sit off a little bit and let them have the ball, which I sort of don't want them to do against us because I think that'll nullify us on the break.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping they really go for it against us because I think our best chance of getting something out of this game is a 2-2 or a 3-3, and a high scoring game where we can take his chances.
Are you saying you don't back us to keep a clean sheet?
No, I must admit I don't think it's very likely. We did think that they were going to be missing. We did think that they were going to be missing a couple of players, and they are going to be missing Firmino because he's injured. But much like Rafinha, the Brazilians can now play, so that tidies things up a bit. So they'll still have Firmino missing. So it'll be Mane on the left, Salah on the right, and Jota through the middle.
Yeah, it's still quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a good side going forward. They'll cause us a lot of issues, but I suppose the one thing is, other than Robin Koch, we've pretty much got everyone back, haven't we?
Yeah, and to be honest, given how we kind of finished last season, you wouldn't expect Koch to be starting anyway.
No, you would expect it to be Llorente and Cooper or Llorente and Strauch. For my money, Llorente and Strauch, but I'm fine with it either way.
Always Llorente.
Yeah.
With his 100% goal scoring record against Liverpool.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot to be said for that. Don't give me anything about small sample sizes. He always scores against Liverpool.
Hudson Edouard, who's set to become the record goal scorer within one season.
Yeah, in Premier League history with his 18 goals per 90. What do you like? We'll be obviously man to man all over the pitch. So you'll have Salah probably against Firpo if he's playing, which you don't know for certain. It could be Dallas at left back and someone else in midfield, but I'm hoping for Dallas in midfield. That's a real worry. Earling's form this season hasn't been great, so him against Mane is a worry as well. And it's not like we can drop the wingers in and have them really help out. Because even if you do, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are going to be pushing up a lot anyway.
Yeah, and they've also, again, just looking at their team from Chelsea, there's Harvey Elliott in there who can sort of drift out wide as well. It'll be an interesting. I think the thing I'm most interested to see is what our central midfield looks like after one of the changes that were made for Burnley, because I think we came away from that unanimously thinking that the Phillips-Rodrigo partnership was not a success. Now Phillips will drop back into the holding mid role, and with Click back, it'll be interesting to see if he goes with Click and Rodrigo or Click and Dallas for this.
I'm very much hoping for Click and Dallas. And to be honest, if he decides, no, I want Dallas left back because maybe he trusts him more than Firpo because Firpo hasn't earned his full-on trust yet, then I would genuinely be saying Click and Shackleton or Click and Roberts ahead of Click and Rodrigo. Probably Click and Roberts, to be honest, because I think Roberts has had good games when he's come off the bench recently. He in the midfield role, he'd definitely be ahead of Rodrigo, in my reckoning.
Yeah, you've got to say that the Rodrigo's performance has been disappointing so far. You know, that I felt he was mostly ineffective against Burnley. And every now and again you do see the quality that he has, but I don't know in that case if it was just because of how Burnley set up and the fact that with us only having a two-man central midfield, that gives him less freedom in the middle. Whereas now if we kind of go back to the three, that might help him out a bit more. But I'm just looking at Liverpool's team. He might have a bit of license to stay further up the field. But
what are you thinking are they likely to play Fabinho at the base of midfield today?
That's what their three-man midfield against Chelsea was: Elliott, Fabinho, and Henderson.
Yeah, you see, it's weird because I didn't expect Elliott to be starting as much as he is, but he's done pretty well so far. But he really pushes on. Henderson sort of it's to be honest, if they play that, the midfield shape it isn't dissimilar to ours.
Yeah,
with sort of one very attacking eight, one less so, and then a sitting midfielder. I was thinking, I can't see Elliott starting, but Thiago, because we've got Thiago, haven't we? And I think he's fit again, but he's working his way back. Naby Keita's probably not going to play because wasn't there a coup d'etat in Guinea where he was? So I think that they got them all out and everything, but he's probably not in the best mood to play. And I mean, there's always the option, and Klopp is a bit like this. Wouldn't be shocked if Milner played in midfield today.
Yeah, I don't know with them. I do think, given especially how we were at Anfield at the start of last season, they've had the experience now. The game at Ellen Road was a more, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, but it was a less attacking affair, I think, from both sides.
Yeah, I'd compare more to the Anfield game than the Ellen Road one because that was the Liverpool with no centre backs,
and that was Leeds with some horrible t-shirts.
Yeah, it was our fault. But yeah, that was their midfield couldn't really attack as much, and the wing backs couldn't attack as much because they were so scared of the lack of defence they had behind them. And now Van Dijk's back, and Matip's fit, and they've signed Ibrahima Konaté, and I think Joe Gomez is fit as well.
Yeah.
So they're not worried
Have you
about
seen
that anymore.
Richarlison basically saying, Van Dijk's not all that. I can list off 5 defenders who are all better than him.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got nothing to do with who he plays for. And also, he's an arse.
Well, my hope is that Liverpool are also have got an eye on the Champions League because they play AC Milan on Wednesday. So it'd be quite nice if they brought in Oxlade-Chamberlain, Joe Gomez, guys. The B team.
Oh yeah, those very well established international level players. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'd rather face Gomez than Van Dijk, but Joe Gomez is really good.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about Oxlade-Chamberlain, which says a lot about their squad.
Yeah, but he did that really good dance with his missus, didn't he? That was nice. That was the highlight of lockdown, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. There's people out there who are saying, I can't believe you're just saying, well, probably not people that listen to this podcast, to be honest, but how dare you just say his missus? She's famous, and I believe she is for something. I don't remember what.
Oh, I don't know who she is.
I think that she's in a girl group or something.
Oh, the minimum level of research would help with this. I'm not going to do it.
No, I've no idea, but I think that she is famous in her own right. There's a worry when I look at... My worry is the same as every... There's no point getting into it. If we play Rodrigo, I think we'll just get done in midfield. And I say it every time, so I hope we don't. But he does help us in attack. We have just had a comment off Tricky Rick who's saying she's in Little Mix. Cool, thank you very much. I knew that she was...
Doing the work so we don't have to.
I knew that she was famous for something. Thank you very much, Rick. In terms of Leeds' selection, then, if only Robin Koch's out, can you see...
Phrasing?
Yep, no, that's how it has to be phrased at this point. Can you see anything other than like basically what you'd expect? Except, obviously, we've talked about midfield, so Melier, Ayling, Llorente, Struijk or Cooper. I'm going to say Struijk. Firpo. Phillips, Click, Dallas, Rafinha, Bamford, Harrison.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd go with. The interesting one is looking at Firpo as to and just in terms of like you say, whether he's earned that trust yet to start a game like this.
For what it's worth, I would start him.
Yeah, I do look at the quality down the wings and the pace as well, and I just think as much as I like Dallas and I think he is a much more solid option there. I think when you're playing against someone like Salah, I do think you do require that extra level of pace that Firpo would bring ahead of Dallas.
I must admit, I'm dying for Firpo to have a good game. Basically, because my dad has already decided he's shite. Which he might prove to be, I don't know. But after 100 minutes, my dad has decided that he's shite. And him going up against Salah probably isn't going to help.
No, but it does seem, the 2 games he's really played so far, he came on it against Scum.
Yeah, came on at half-time and got done for the second goal.
Yeah. Everton have some decent wingers.
He got ripped to... Did he play against Everton?
I can't remember now.
Yeah, I think he did, because that was was it that game where Damari Gray was doing him?
Yeah. And I'm not helping him really with this.
No.
And then, we all know the threat that Crew posed. Helder Costa, I think, was the biggest threat against us that night.
Yeah, I'm going to say we already took...
He's gone now, so I've got to let that go. So, yeah, you know what? Just chuck him in against Mo Salah. It'll probably be fine. I bet he can't wait for the run of fixtures after this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that we have to try and remember with this game.
Let me deal with Joe Murphy. It'll be fine.
This is not the one that we need to worry about, really. I mean, don't get me wrong. If we get a result here, that's great, and it's not impossible. It's not. Like they're not playing such amazing football at the minute, but you can't see there being any chance of a result. But it's unlikely. It's the games that come after this where we need to pick up the results. Because I mean, we're 17th, I think, at the minute, but there's 3 games gone. You can't really read anything into that.
I don't know, it's a tough one though. You know, we're going into this one undefeated at home.
Yeah, that's very true. Unbeaten in 3, if you include the cup.
Oh.
We're basically winning the league.
Yeah. That I didn't think that's where my point was going, but now that you've led me there, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I just don't want it to turn into what happened at Old Trafford. That's what I want from today. Yes, we are playing against top quality players, but let's try having the fullbacks defend a bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. We did have a comment from Alex just saying his Dan James debut. Well, he won't start, but you would assume he gets off the bench. Although I shouldn't make assumptions with Bielsa, really.
I mean, they all he had his first day in training 2 days ago. So I'm assuming he's about 2 stone overweight.
By Bielsa standards, yeah. We'd all walk past him and go, wow, he's in great shape.
Bielsa walks past, look at you, you fat fuck.
Lose half a stone. You look tired after that half marathon. It needs to hit the full marathon before I'll even consider.
I'm surprised he's not doing the Great North Run today instead.
You only came 5th. You must become 5th.
I beat Mo Farah. No, it's not enough. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he came off the bench, depending on the result, but I still have the curiosity at the moment of just put Somerville in, because I just want to see him.
Yeah.
In a Premier League game.
Before Rafinha was allowed to play again, I genuinely was thinking it wouldn't surprise me if this is where he throws him in. Because I couldn't see him starting Dan James after 2 days training. Now, it'd probably ended up being Dallas on the wing or something. And, Click and Roberts in the middle. And
there are so many. And when you try and think like Bielsa does, it is quite interesting. There was part of me when, well, with Rafinha being an inside forward, he could move Rodrigo out there. I know he doesn't have the pace, but he can still, he's got that ability to cut inside. Jamie Shackleton's done well down the right-hand side. He might play him and have him link up with Luke Ayling, and that could work. Stuart Dallas was actually a winger once upon a time, so he could play there. Diego Llorente, he's got some fantastic, ball control. He could probably do a job out there.
You just think it's not going to be we've spent 25 million on a winger, so he plays. If that's the one thing we're all sure it won't be.
Helder Costa, where are you?
But I'm assuming he will get on at some point today. But it's not certain. I'm looking at their team, and the thing that I can see is if they play a midfield that's like Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, I could see Click getting some joy out of that. They're not the greatest at tracking, and they're a little bit one-paced. So Click makes good runs, I could see him getting away and getting some space, which also could benefit Roberts in a similar way if he plays. That's like, when I'm looking through the team, that matchup is the bit where I can see us getting a bit of joy. And going forward, our wingers against their fullbacks, I can see getting joy. Not because Robertson and Alexander-Arnold aren't really great footballers, because they are, but they can get caught up the pitch a little bit. And they will probably leave some space in behind and stuff like that. So I think going forward, I can see us doing... Well, I genuinely think we will score today. It's just that I don't see us conceding. I can't see us only conceding 1. I think it'll be at least 2 and probably 3. Just given their wealth of attacking talent and the way that they play, I just can't. I wish I could be more positive about us defensively, but I just can't. It's more to do with them than it is to do with us.
Yeah, you got to remember finishing last season where that was a Liverpool team that, for a period, were playing some awful football. Obviously missing their defence as well. And Mo Salah still finished as the top scorer in the division, I think.
Yeah, well, once we got a couple of them back, I mean, last 10 games of the season, we won 8, drew 2.
Yeah.
To fly back up and finish third. Like, they had one, it was a little bit end of a cycle. I think they'd pushed themselves because they were basically unbelievable for 2 seasons. They lost the title with like 90 odd points on goal difference and then won it. And I think they just hit a bit of a wall and had some injuries and it really dropped off. But they seem to be coming back up now. Still technically of this parish, he's just very busy, so he's never here. Coddy said he's calling it now. 2-1 Leeds win. Well, I hope he's right, but I don't see it myself, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's if nothing else, I do think it'll be a good game as 2 teams that like to attack. So I do think there will be space for, unfortunately, for both teams to operate in the middle. I am going to back a Click goal today, I think.
Well, you're not. You're going to back a Jack Harrison goal.
Well, and 2-1.
Because you always do.
Except when I don't, and then he scores.
Yeah, I am. I think that when I look at this, it was that you said there'll be loads of space for both teams. And that's a bit like it was in that last pre-season friendly at Old Trafford. Obviously, we can't give anyone as much room as we gave Pogba. Because, I mean, you could give John Joe Shelby that much room and he'd probably have a major effect on the game.
I know this is the running joke, but Paul Pogba has now got more assists this season than Paul Scholes got in any season for them. And I think Graham Souness is still disappointed with his performances. Well,
did you see Souness saying, this Lukaku's so much better now because he didn't take his football seriously before? No, just fuck off, Souness. That's not why.
Yeah. Maybe he had someone that turns out isn't a very good man manager.
Yeah. The problem is, obviously, as I was saying before, if both teams have loads of space, you have to say, all right, then, who's got the more talented squad? And unfortunately for Leeds, it isn't Leeds. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm
not going to look at our subs bench, though.
Yeah, I said squad, not 11. And I mean, it's true of the 11, but it's extra true of the squad. It's extra true if you look at the whole squad. I just like Bamford will run his ass off and can kind of pull Matip and I'm assuming Matip and Van Dijk, but it'll be Van Dijk and one of them about. So I really do think I know we were just on about it, but I keep looking at it and the way the team's set up, and I do think Click is the key man today if we're going to get something. I think he's the one that is going to get the space without someone tightly on him. Because if Harrison and Rafinha get away, I think that they'll be. I don't think it'll be getting away in central areas when we're coming in field. I think it'll all be out wide.
Yeah.
So we need that extra man to get away and get space in the middle, and I think it'll be Click. So that's who I'm hoping for. But the thing is that I look at, because I'm assuming Jota's going to drop a bit off the front, and that's going to drag. I'm assuming like Llorente will go out with him, and the other centre back, either Cooper or Strike, will stay in. With like Fabinho deep, with sort of Roberts on him, Thiago getting picked up by Click, and no, Thiago would have to get picked up by Philip. Their midfield shape is weird because they have such rotations between those three. You know, which one's deep and the other two going forward. We could end up with a really odd midfield at times here. And, you know, say people pushing on because Jota's gone wide and Mane's gone in. Like, we could end up with weird situations where, like, Phillips is at right back and Ayling's at centre back and Llorente's in midfield, just because they've all been dragged around so much. And the way that they're dragging us all around is going to leave spaces, and that's where I think I think there's going to be a goal we concede at some point today. Where
I think there might be a couple.
Yeah, but where specifically someone is running through on goal, and you're going, why is it Roberts who's the man? Why is it Roberts who's the man chasing back? And it probably will be his man. It'll just be they've just all got dragged around out of position and goes. So I'm hoping
also playing at left back.
Yeah, I'm just hoping
at centre mid.
If they don't hit the ground running with their attacking, maybe we can avoid that sort of situation. Because it is the Old Trafford game that worries me. Like, Pogba nominally playing from the left, but basically playing in the middle, and Ayling just getting completely lost. And I could see a similar story with this, not necessarily with Ayling, but with someone just losing it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when we get it right, it's words. I think I still remember going to games the first time with you when you'd see Barry Douglas was also at right back because he just followed his man across.
Yeah.
And you just think, right, there is a hole at left back. But I suppose they do have both their wingers on that side. So well, but yeah, I suppose now we're looking at, instead of it being whoever was Blackburn's winger at that point, to now it's Mo Salah that's wandered across to the other side.
Yeah.
And Trent Alexander-Arnold is the one bombing up behind him.
It could be an issue. It isn't the first... Is it the first time with a full crowd? No, I think he played in the League Cup. I was trying to think if Milner's actually been back.
Was the League Cup game at Ellen Road?
Well, there was one, but I think he was still at Man City at that point, wasn't it? No, that's it. I mean, he might have even been at Villa, David and Gog, etc.
No, because we did play them in the cup. Because if you remember,
oh no,
he was banging on about it.
Yeah, the Kemar Roof one, that was away. I was thinking of the previous time,
but
that's before Milner went to Liverpool.
Oh.
Did he? And he went. Did he go the summer before we went down?
No, he went He went the summer we went down.
It was the summer we went down.
The start of the year, he was on loan at Swindon.
So in that case, I don't think he's actually been back to Ellen Road with a full crowd.
Yeah.
So he will hopefully get on. 5 minutes left. Come on, score an own goal like he's supposed to. Get his standing ovation.
Tear up his contract and sign a Leeds one, writing it on Luke Ayling's back or something.
Yeah. Hopefully it can come
Rides off on a horse.
Come on with 4 minutes left at 1-1. Own goal. 2-1 Leeds. Runs up to the cop. Take the title of worst away performer away from Jermaine Beckford.
Oh, that is true. Love to see that.
So yeah, I'd love to be more optimistic, but I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool.
I am going to go 2-2.
Well, that'd be fun. Obviously, for my one goal, not that this matters for the predictions, I'm going to say Click gets it because it's just the only player I see having all the room.
Diego Llorente from one of his 45-yarders.
Yeah, but speaking of him, you saw Rudiger's yesterday, didn't you?
Yep.
Oh God, it was hilarious, that shot.
Rumour has it that shot was actually just curving up so far. It actually ended up doing a loop-de-loop.
Yeah. It was the backspin. It was the Magnus effect.
Yeah.
Right, well, that will do us. Obviously, it's only half an hour, but we knew this one was going to be short. It might, to be honest, as I'm off work tomorrow, it might be the next one that is tomorrow.
Exciting times.
Yeah, just because
we've got nothing better to do.
There's a lot of things on for both of us at the minute, so we keep running out of time, which is why we're having very, very odd scheduling. But that'll do us for episode.
It's very generous of you to say that I'm doing a lot of things.
The schools are back open now. You will have more work.
You're the one with a job and a child, and I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the second time. So yeah, we've both got a lot going on. You're right.
Yeah. Well, the brief things were right, which is getting fewer and fewer far between. Fewer and further between would be how you phrase that.
Attorneys General.
Yeah. Sons of bitches. The stuff goes up on Through It All Together, which is on Twitter at THIU LUFC. We're on Twitter at Mighty Whites Pod, where some of you are probably watching it now. That'll do us for episode 128. Hopefully we get a result. I've been Jack. See ya.
I'm in Casey. Have a good one.
In a bit.